It's no secret elections cost money. And in this next series of stories, we dive headfirst into the world of campaign finance on Guam. Who's giving to whom and why? We also find out that it's not just how you raise your money, it's how you spend it that matters. Here's more. Using campaign money for Tsinsuli, donating campaign funds to charity, even using campaign dollars to give cash to and buy gifts for employees of the Office of the Public Auditor. All probable violations we found in Public Auditor Doris Flores Brooks' campaign finance reports.
We'll just give her an opportunity to explain herself.
Brooks confirming to KUAM News she's received a letter from the GEC about the possible violations. She declined to comment on this story until after she's had a chance to respond to GEC. A review of the Public Auditor's campaign spending reports dating back to 2012 show what appears to be consistent violations.
The Commission takes it very seriously. Yeah.
Spending campaign funds on things that fall outside the rules on how you can spend campaign cash and what you can spend it on.
Services and goods that directly promote the campaign, nothing else. If they spend on something else, that's maybe saying you're buying a vote.
So is it proper for the public auditor to give employees of the OPA gifts or money from campaign funds?
Most likely not.
Senator Mike San Nicolas, according to campaign docs he signed off on the receiving end of what could possibly be an illegal $3,000 donation from Cortec. The donation in question listed under cash contributions. Corporations not allowed to donate cash to senatorial candidates. They can only buy $1,000 worth of fundraiser tickets in a single year. When this possible violation pointed out to the GEC, Pangilinan saying they don't have the time or money they need to investigate violations.
If we have time, we'll take a look at it.
Coincidentally, or not, Senator San Nicolas is the GEC's Legislative Oversight Chair. So does Pangilinan think Senator Mike San Nicolas is responsible for accepting a questionable donation from Cortec?
Yes, because it appears so, but the first step always is to ask the candidate for clarification.
Oh, that's exactly what we tried to do, but San Nicolas did not respond to multiple calls and messages. Pangilinan admitting that prior to the 2014 elections, candidate campaign spending and donation violations were rampant. Even though the law has never changed, the GEC choosing not to hold any of the violators accountable.
For the 2012 elections, those were not enforced. And in 2014, it was very clear to the candidates then that expenditures like that were not appropriate.
And if a candidate is reviewed for any questionable spending or donations, the way the public auditor is now, they can simply say the violations were unintentional. And just like that, they're off the hook.
Have you ever had any candidate who was being investigated for questionable expenditures admit that it was an intentional violation?
No.
So they always say it's unintentional?
Yes.
Referencing several campaign contribution and expenditure reports, KUAM News was able to alert the GEC of apparent violations. But Pangilinan says they won't look into anything from before 2014, including San Nicolas's donation from Cortec, even if the proof is right inside their office. The apparent violations documented in KUAM News stories ranging from over-the-limit contributions to questionable spending of campaign funds. And everyone, from senators to gubernatorial candidates, seems to be in on the action. The Bota team accepting over-the-limit donations from RKM Property Group and individuals, raising eyebrows at the GEC. There's no statute of limitations on campaign finance violations. Senator Tommy Morrison finds himself under scrutiny after he admitted to KUAM News he used campaign funds to donate to charities and community organizations.
Special Olympics, Guam Moms Helping Moms, American Cancer Society, youth organizations, and many sports teams. It's hard for us to say no.
Spending campaign cash on anything that doesn't directly promote a candidate or a campaign?
That's maybe saying you're buying a vote.
Morrison says buying votes was not his intention when he gave donations, and he argues giving money to charities hasn't helped him at the polls. Since he first ran 3 terms ago, he's placed lower in every election.
My first term, I was the top 5 vote getters. I guess over the years with the contributions, you can see, I guess, it doesn't seem to be buying any votes. It was never intent to buy any votes. We never forced anybody to do any favors for us or put even a logo on their shirts or banners. You know, we just wanted to help.
Regarding a donation thousands of dollars over the legal limit, Legislative Majority Leader Senator Tom Atta telling KUAM News someone like St. Nicholas should have known better.
It's your campaign. It's your campaign funds. You've got to manage them.
Senator Jim Espaldon also the subject of scrutiny for his donations to sports teams and his acceptance of over-the-limit donations from EMSCO and NC Macario and Associates. Espaldon did not return calls for comment. Morrison says how candidates spend campaign funds should be re-examined because he says he's not the only one breaking the rules.
There should be some discussion on this because I think many of my colleagues or even past legislatures know exactly what I'm talking about.
An examination of Senator Dennis Rodriguez's 2016 campaign finance reports show sponsorships and donations to various community organizations like the Lions Club, Guam Women's Club, Korean Women's Association, Miss Earth Guam, Little Miss Sampaguita, and the Filipino Ladies Association of Guam. Campaign finance violations reported on by KUAM News were put on the agenda at the Guam Election Commission's board meeting, then promptly tabled for discussion behind closed doors. An array of violations committed by sitting senators, candidates for governor and lieutenant governor, even the public auditor, making headlines. And when they were put in front of GEC board members last night, the silence was deafening. Just an hour before the meeting, a rep from the Tenorio Atta campaign at the GEC to show proof that the Bota team returned an over-the-limit donation from RKM Property Group, just a day after we reported on the violation. Copies of our stories compiled for board members, and after getting through the first half of the meeting, GEC Director Maria Pangilinan asked the board to address the issues at hand. Independent board member Pat Seville making the motion to go behind closed doors. And just like that, no guarantee of accountability and no proof to show the voting public that their candidates can follow simple campaign finance rules and regulations ethically. What we do know, the GEC compiled a list of potential violations for the board review, and it's presumed that information was reviewed by the board behind closed doors. But with the GEC board deciding to protect the politicians and not the public, there's no way we'll ever know for sure.